Hello guys, it's Uncle Ham bringing you some Titanfall gameplay and first impressions. Now, right off the bat, I'd like to, say I have not really played a first-person shooter, too much since COD 4. I was really into COD 4, but after that, kind of got sick of the whole COD formula. COD 4 was really fresh for me. After that, the rest of them just weren't quite as interesting, in my opinion. And so this is my first time kind of getting back into FPS on the PC, and yeah, I'd just like to show you some gameplay and give you my initial thoughts. And I think the game will be starting up soon here. Yeah, it's 23 seconds. But yeah, there's one thing I want to address here before the game starts. It's about the AI and the player count. Coming into Titanfall, I mean, I'd seen the videos and stuff like that, and I thought it looked good, but I wasn't actually that excited for some reason. I don't know, maybe it's just because I thought it sort of looked like another Call of Duty, or, I just didn't think it was going to catch my attention that much. But, it actually really has, and I'd like to talk a little bit about why it has, and it has to do partially with the player count and all the NPCs in game. A lot of people have been worried about that, and I know some people probably won't like it, but personally I find it to be really interesting and a breath of fresh air in the FPS genre because, for one thing, with 6 on 6, it kind of feels like you have more of an impact in a game. And I know some people might say that takes away from the competitiveness, but I think it sort of adds to the competitiveness in a certain way. I know it does detract a bit, but when it's 6 on 6, it's a little bit more calculated. When you have a million people in a battlefield game, you're getting shot at from all directions. There's people coming up behind you. It's really hard to kind of keep track of what's going on, and it's some of it is luck. With 6 on 6, there's a little bit more room to kind of find people without them sneaking up on you, although that is still very much possible in this game. And secondly, I really like the AI. They're super easy, I'm not gonna lie. They're really stupid. The bots are terrible, but what they do add is they add some flavor to the gameplay, and it makes the battlefield seem a lot more alive, and it just gives you stuff to do, and I really appreciate that, and I think it's really interesting, and it's a really new idea, and it feels really different, and I think that is something that was really important for me going into this. I wanted it to feel like kind of a step in a different direction than just another Call of Duty game or another FPS, Battlefield, Call of Duty type of thing. And it feels like that. It feels different. So that's a really good thing. Another thing I wanted to talk about, and this isn't really so much about the core game design, but it's kind of a result of it, is I feel like silencers actually do a lot more in this game, because what happens is, if you shoot and you don't have a silencer, a player shoots, it shows up on the minimap and it's a big red dot. And I mean, it happens in Call of Duty too. Yeah, you can see people on the minimap when they shoot. But here in this game, there's not that many players, so if they see a big dot like that, they're going to go for you generally. And then the other thing is, if you're not showing up on the map, the player characters look a lot like the NPC, the NPC characters, and the NPC characters are generally not a threat. So if you can stay hidden on the minimap, it makes it a lot easier to kill other players because they aren't expecting you to actually be a player. They think you're another bot. This also kind of goes with the Titan gameplay, and this is something I really like. I really like that the Titans can autopilot themselves, and I actually spend probably more time with my Titan out. I spend more time outside of my Titan than I actually do piloting it personally. And the reason for that is, Titans in this game, they're big. They're big, that's the thing. They're big, they're huge threats. And if you're playing with other players and you call down a Titan, your Titan, they're going to want to take it down. So what that does is, if you're outside your Titan, it really gives you an advantage because they're going to be looking to kill your Titan. And what that gives you an opportunity to do is maybe rodeo onto their Titan, if they have one. Or you can just get shots on them when they're trying to, get like a rocket launch on target on your Titan, and I feel like it's actually a very viable tactic. Yeah, and oh yeah, for people who don't know, rodeo is when you actually jump on top of another person's Titan and you can kind of shoot directly into the circuit board, and it bypasses the Titan's shield, and it just makes it a lot easier to kill him. But yeah, so I really like that, and I like that there's kind of multiple uses for Titans, and it's not just a, you know, I call in a Titan and now, you know, I just get in and I'm some super powerful, you know, juggernaut. So I think that's a really good game design choice there. Another thing I wanted to address is the burn cards, and I've been looking at them and I've been reading about them and I've been using them, and you know, I don't really know what to think of them at this point. I like that they do add a bit of flavor to the gameplay. They do things such as give you special weapons for 1 life, or they reduce the time it takes for your Titanfall to recharge, or they can make your pilot run faster. They do things like that, and so, you know, they do make a difference, and that's kind of what I feel is a little weird, is it's not just for variety's sake. They are kind of bonuses, but I mean, you know, I'm hoping that they might put in a game mode where burn cards aren't allowed, and I would assume that's kind of would be the more competitive game mode. But in terms of what Titanfall is right now for me in the beta, it's not so much about being a super duper competitive FPS, you know, where it's all about your kill to death ratio and stuff like that. It's kind of more about the whole experience, and because of that, I do actually like the burn cards. Because they add some flavor, you know, getting a really big machine gun by using one of the burn cards is pretty cool. You know, it's interesting, and it just makes the game more fun rather than you just using the same weapons over and over and over again. So yeah, you know, I think they're good, but we'll have to see how, you know, they do the competitive scene, because I assume, you know, they're the original Call of Duty developers, and I would assume that they would want their game to have some sort of competitive nature, and right now I can't see Titanfall really being super competitive, you know, relative to other competitive FPSs like Counter-Strike and such like that. So yeah, you know, I'm really enjoying it. I wasn't planning on buying it beforehand, but now having played in the beta, I'm pretty sure I'm going to. You know, it's going to be interesting to see what, you know, more stuff they actually have in the game. Right now they only let you have 1 Titan type, and there's supposedly 3 in the game, but who knows, maybe they'll release more at a later date or something like that, and I'm hoping that they'll have a couple more game modes, and obviously we'll have to see how many maps they have, because that'll be really important in terms of the longevity that you'll get out of playing the game, since it's multiplayer only. Yeah, but besides that, it's got awesome atmosphere. The graphics look good. Right now, I gotta mention this, right now, the gameplay that you're seeing, I have most of the graphics turned down pretty low. My machine's pretty old, and you know, recording and playing at the same time can kind of, it can be a little taxing on my system. So I think most of the graphics are either low or medium, you know, for the different sliders you can put in, and it still looks really good in my opinion. If you turn it up, it looks even better. I usually play with them on high. I don't play on the very highest settings because, yeah, again, I said my computer's a little old. But, I mean, my computer's a couple years old. I got it for $300, and I put in, besides that, I put in a new graphics card, and it runs Titanfall perfectly. So I really appreciate that they have done that and made it so that, you know, it looks good even on an old machine, and it runs nicely too. So yeah, you know, that's pretty much all I gotta say. I'll just let you guys watch the rest of the video, and I hope you enjoyed this. Yep, have a good one. Take care, guys.
It's over, guys. We lost. Fall back to base.
We've lost the sector to the IMC. I'm sending in the drop kit. Check your HUD, get to the nearest evac point. Hurry to the evac point. Ship won't wait forever.